The immortal John Hancock here, and I'm back with another video, and this video is going to be a little bit different. Today I'd like to talk about kind of the excessive comparing that goes on in the gaming community and the retro gaming community, and kind of my perspective on it. Every year it seems like there's kind of a new perspective on how a game company's doing, whether it's not doing well, it's failing in sales, etc., etc., etc. And that's the current game market. But it also goes into retro gaming, and I'm kind of here to say, stop comparing. Stop comparing what you collect, what system you're into, and let me go into detail a little bit, okay? I think that it's important that people who are passionate about something shouldn't care about what someone else thinks about it. I have been in this hobby for over 20 years. I never did things that were popular. I've collected things and people have laughed at me like, why are you into that? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you personally are into, and you shouldn't matter what other people think. If you're passionate and excited about collecting something or being into a particular system, it doesn't matter whether it's popular or not. So many times I think individuals get caught up into what other people think, and at the end of the day it doesn't matter. I wouldn't have what I have here if I listened to what other people thought. I've heard all sorts of stuff about, oh, that's hoarding, or oh, that's OCD, or you know, and I don't listen to it. It's fine. You're gonna get comments like that from people that don't understand or aren't into a hobby, and that's fine. The first thing I'd like to bring up is, let's just talk about people that get caught up into comparing systems with one another. You know, there's 3 main game systems out there competing with each other currently in the market. You have Microsoft, you have Sony, and you have Nintendo. And all 3 have pros and cons. It doesn't matter what you're into or what you're a fan of. I currently in my home have an Xbox One and a Wii U. I don't have a PS4. It's no particular reason. I'm planning on picking one up. It's just haven't got around to it. But there's a lot of people, and I see this a lot on more current game forums, but the comparing of one to the other, and one's better than the other, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter really what's selling better or what's doing better. What matters is if you're into a particular game system, great, and you're enjoying it, that's awesome. There's fans out there that love their PlayStation Vita, and yet there's another population that thinks that's stupid. Well, why are we having a judgment? Like, if someone's excited about being into a particular system, so be it. That's great. I just am really big on the fellowship and the inclusiveness of this hobby, and I love hearing about people into a particular system or really excited about something obscure, and I really don't care if someone else doesn't think that's great at all. It's just not me. I got into this hobby because of the inclusiveness. I love the diversity of this hobby. I welcome all walks of life, all cultures, and I just think that the more that we can do that, the better the hobby is going to be. And the more bickering that goes on, the worse things can be. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are kind of tired of the conflict, the comparing, the drama, and as you know, I'm not part of that at all. Like, I won't be. I refuse to be. I think the other thing that people compare in this hobby is the value of something. You know, someone can get really excited about scoring a Nintendo Ice Hockey or something, and another person's going to have a judgment or or it's going to say, oh, that's a common game. Well, so what? There's so many ways of collecting and being into this hobby. Like, we need to stop comparing. Like, just because someone is excited about a particular game that's common, we shouldn't have a judgment about it. It's just it just blows my mind sometimes where or someone doesn't want to share something with others because they're going to be laughed at. Maybe they're into, like, I don't know, I got FIFA Soccer here for Sega Genesis. Maybe this is someone's really excited about finding this, and yet they might be embarrassed because it's a loose Genesis sports card. They shouldn't worry. Don't worry about it. Be excited and be passionate, and don't worry about what other people think, because at the end of the day, this is your hobby. This is what you're into. That kind of brings up the other kind of subcategory of comparisons that people get into. I think there's many different types of game consoles, arcade systems, and the comparison of back and forth. There isn't a wrong thing to collect, and I think that if you think that your system is somewhat better than other people's, then that's wrong, pretty much. If you're into, like, no, I'll just have it right here. If say you're into Intellivision, that's a Sylvania model, by the way. That's great, but that doesn't mean that that's better than anything else. Or say you're an arcade collector, and you think that that's the elitist way of collecting. That's the better way of collecting. No, that's what you prefer to collect. And that someone that chooses not to collect that, it's not better or worse. It's just what you prefer. And sometimes we are quick to say what we think is better, when really we need to replace that statement with what we prefer, our preference, or this is what I prefer. A good example, N64. N64 is a system. Sorry, I had to have morning coffee. N64 is a system that really can split a fan base for Nintendo fans. Like, there's some people that hate it. There's some people that grew up and loved it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If someone's into N64 and then they hear another comment from someone who's not into that says that system's crap because it didn't make great 2D games. Well, that's just an opinion. That should be replaced with, well, I prefer the games on the Super Nintendo because I like those type of games. And then, I just think that it's important to know that if you're into N64, that doesn't mean that it's a crap system. It means that you like it and you're passionate about it. And I can list 20 games on the N64 for me personally that I love and got me into the system. And yet there's going to be other people out there that hate the system, that think it's garbage. They're going to say all sorts of stuff about it, which really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. How about popularity? Well, I'm so glad that I collected the Dreamcast and didn't listen to the people at the time saying, "Oh, Sega's going away. It's going the wayside. Avoid it. It's going down." Well, that's why I started collecting it. It's because I liked the games and I didn't care about how well it was doing in the market. I didn't care about whether or not it was going to be going out of business. I was just appreciating it at the time, and I'm glad I did that. And that's how I feel about the Wii U. The Wii U is not doing well in the market. It's actually doing really bad. But I appreciate the games on it. I love playing it. Currently there's an E3 and I know Nintendo's present and has a few games, but I know there's other people that are going to judge it because it's not selling well. Well, that's not going to change my perspective of it. I'm going to still appreciate it. I'm still going to like it. And I don't need someone else to tell me what's popular or not, or something's better or not, that doesn't affect what I collect, and it never has. How about this? You're playing a game system, and you're playing it the original way that you grew up with, on maybe a standard television set, using a standard RF connection, and yet someone else has a judgment because it's not crisp and clean, RGB modded, blah 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 blah. You know, we all have our preference in how we grow up with something. I am a fan of playing a game system on its original resolution. I do like, I do have modded systems. I have a couple RGB modded systems, but that doesn't make it a better experience. That just makes it different and makes it modded. And I think there's people out there that will judge others because they're not playing on a certain resolution, or they're not playing it a certain way, and that's garbage. It really is. And that you know, if you want to play a game system and on an original TV, you know, heck, even a black and white TV, and you grew up playing it on a black and white TV, your original Nintendo, so be it. And don't worry about what other people think, and don't listen to the people that are going to say otherwise. And if you're one of those people that make comments like that, stop. It doesn't matter what you think and what you think's better. It just play what you like and game the way you like. And the judgment, you know, it doesn't do us any favors whatsoever. And I think that you know, the more inclusive that we can be as fellow gamers together. I mean, we have a special connection of being in this hobby. I've met so many wonderful people, and I tend to gravitate to those types of people. And you know, I am kind of a happy-go-lucky guy, and it served me well. I have a stressful day job, and I appreciate being in this hobby. You know, chilling out, hanging out with people of different opinions and different likes. I mean, one of my best friends, Jonathan Rose, you know, we differ on lots of different things, but that's what I like about him. You know, we share back and forth ideas and things about gaming, and it's not a comparison. It's just more of just a discussion, and we respect each other where we stand, and I appreciate that about him. Finally, I'd like to talk about don't compare what you gamer collect, and let's bring up controllers. And controllers, another thing that is often discussed. There's many different types of controllers out there. Arcade sticks, original, non-original, emulation, and that's another judgment where if you're not playing with a certain controller or something, it shouldn't matter. If you grew up with a particular controller that was a third-party controller, and that was a controller, the only controller you had in your household, so be it. Like, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter what other people think. And don't feel like you have to replace your controller that you like because someone else says that it's garbage. Like, I play with all sorts of stuff. I made a homemade Robotron 2600. Robotron 2084, my apologies, can't believe I messed it up. Too early in the morning. Robotron 2084 controller. And for my Atari 7800. And I used, you know, I've talked about this on a previous video, but yeah, it's essentially a shelving unit leftover with two TAC2 controllers zip tied. I don't care what people think. I love this controller. This controller was very cheap to make. I had parts lying around and I made it. And I love it. I don't care if people think that it's garbage. Or tacky, or doesn't look great, or aesthetically. I think that there is a certain population of elitists that, you know, that's that's their thing, and that's, you know, they care very much about the aesthetics and how something looks great, and if it's not great, then they might have an opinion and say about it. And I'm just not that person, and I'm encouraging people to stop comparing, stop thinking that your way is better than someone else's, and be happy for people that are passionate about games. And just the more that we can do that, as a retro gaming hobby, the better we're going to be. And you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world that are negative and sad. And I just think in general, the more that we can come together is just going to be better for everybody. And I want to thank all my fans. If you would have told me that I would be reaching, you know, 9,000 subs within, you know, 4 months, I would have been said, yeah, right. But that's because of the wonderful support that I've received, and I look forward to doing many different types of videos moving forward. I did get a capture card. My computer's a little slower, so I would like to capture some video. I did order a microphone. As for editing, it's going to be pretty on the simple side if I go down that route for videos. So just be patient with me. I look forward to doing. I have many other videos planned. This one was kind of the last spur of the moment, and I just want to thank everybody for watching. And until next week, take care.